EQI 2.0, the fifth realm, stress management. When I say stress management and look at your workplace, think of some folks at the ends of the spectrum. Someone who handles it well, someone who handles it not so well. And think of yourself, where are you on that spectrum, right? So let's talk about the three elements of stress management. First one is flexibility. Next one is stress tolerance. Last one, the third one, is optimism. Now, quick story. Have you ever listened to the cockpit audio of Captain Sully Sullenberger from flight Cactus 1549 that landed on the Hudson in the water? It's phenomenal. I think it's obviously a real case study, and it's being used as a case study of stress, of how someone handles stress. Takes off from LaGuardia Airport, flies through a flock of birds, both engines flame out, he loses all his thrust, tells LaGuardia Airport, LaGuardia, flight Cactus 1541, declare an emergency, return into LaGuardia, we lost both engines, flew through a flock of birds. And the controller, just as calm, Roger 1549, left traffic, runway 21. I don't think we're not going to make that runway. Okay, runway 4 is available, left traffic for runway 4. I don't think we're going to make that. You got another airport. Teterboro's off to your right, runway 1. Gives him a vector to turn. I don't think we're going to make that. I think we're going to end up in the Hudson. You would have thought he was talking to his mom about coming over for dinner on a Sunday afternoon. Very calm, as were the controllers were as well, under a very stressful situation that could have been totally taken over by emotion. So now let's go through and think about your workplace, the good person, the not so good person, you, and we can use Sully in this one as well. So it's measuring. The first one is, the first part of it is flexibility. The ability to flex in the time of high emotions, when things change, the environment's changing, the data's changing, the evidence changing. His evidence was constantly changing. Birds, no engines, turned, did some calculations, looks like we're not going to make it. And he flexed every single time, very, very flexible under stressful conditions. All right? So think about the other folks you're thinking about. The next one is stress tolerance. How well you handle stress when you're under it. When you're under pressure, things are pushing you. How well do you handle it? Do you go back into yourself? Do you fly off the handle? What happens? How well do you tolerate that? And you really think about it, that's the ability to choose different courses of action, so that way you can continue. So that's one way in there. Next one is being optimistic about what the outcome can be. So as you think about yourself, you're going through some challenges, things are changing, things aren't as good as you want them to be, you're handling the stress. Do you take the optimistic view, or do you take a view that's not so optimistic? Last one under this one of stress tolerance is, how do you use your emotions to help influence a positive outcome? Clearly, the ability of him, how he talked to the controllers, how he talked to his co-pilot, and how he talked to the other flight crew in the airplane and the passengers to keep folks calm, had an impact on that. Folks did not panic. They took on his emotions were contagious. And realize that your emotions are contagious. So the ability of how you handle stress is really, really important. Right? So that's the stress tolerance. Last one is just overall optimism. A case, you're going through a situation. Maybe it's a business case. Wow, first quarter was not that good. Really challenging. I think we hit the bottom and now we're on the upward side. I think we're going to be okay. So you're optimistic. And I'm not talking about being blindly optimistic. Oh, where no matter what, you're always looking through rose-colored glasses. Be realistic. Here's the data. Here's the positive side of that data to deal with it positively so you could affect positive outcomes. When you take that from the short term and make it long term, that sets up an attitude around you of folks being positive and looking at the positive side and how you can move forward. All right, so those are the three elements of stress management. So as you think about that, it measures, and think about where you are on each one of these things, and where maybe you want to improve, or where you know you need to improve. All right, so those are the 5 realms that we've just gone through. Now, next video, we're going to bring it all together and see how you could use this as a leadership development tool for you and those that you lead.